The Bible is a coded book, and we've been told this many times. There's 4 ways in reading it, and that method is called Pardes. There are locks on certain knowledge in it that only the Son of Man, which is not the same as the Son of God, can open. These are the 4 ways. Peshat, which is the surface, the straight or the literal direct meaning, which is where most people are at. Remez, the hint or deep allegoric or hidden symbolic meaning. Dresh, to inquire or to seek, which is what most people don't do. This means you're going to read something in the Bible, and sometimes you're going to have to go outside of the Bible to tie them back together. And the last is the Sod, which is the secret, the mystery, the esoteric, mystical meaning, which most people say esoteric is a cult. But this is telling you exactly that the Bible itself has deep, hidden, esoteric meanings. You see, the Bible is not a book of the past age. It's a book about our present age, written by initiates of the past age, forecasting the future of our present age, using stories and names of men as representatives. Most of them did not even exist as we read it literally. Books have been removed. Tampering has definitely been done to these books, mostly at the Council of Nicaea by Constantine. However, like I said before, the books are coded, and it was coded when they attempted to corrupt it. Coded by men in high states of consciousness, with their direct connect to the divine intact. These men were 5th dimensional thinkers, like the Egyptians that the Greek historian Herodotus saw and said they were almost godlike. See, the things they built couldn't be explained with a 3rd dimensional mind of the fallen spirit as we are today. Their arts, their structure, the way they live, we read and think of them logically, not intuitively. In our world, the logical man is credited as a genius, while the intuition, you know, that voice that tells you don't cross the street, a car is coming, without you ever seeing it, it's regarded as coincidence. Our most logical minds and so-called geniuses put in the history books, in the schools, that the Egyptians, who were the greatest minds of that age, put their jewelry in their tombs so they can bring it to their afterlife. Now, come on. This is why in the greater order of things, the logical mind, the 3D genius, is subordinate to the intuitive, and in the spirit world, the logical man is considered a fool. The Bible draws parallels to the Egyptian hieroglyph. These great people in the height of their existence were telepathic. They had one language, the language of the mind. That's the story of the Tower of Babel. They didn't need to write to understand each other. All the writings that were left for the new spirits who were coming into this present cycle and would soon go through the state of the fallen consciousness in the dark age. Just as the Bible, the writers were of the previous age. And like the defilement of the tombs and the pyramids, so was the defilement of the Bible by the heathens. And like the secret chambers in the pyramids that have never been seen or entered by these heathens and ungodly men, even though they attempted to defile the structure, the same is for the secret chambers in the Bible, hidden in allegory, numbers, gematria, and Hebrew typology. So Constantine in the Council of Nicaea only defiled the structure of the Bible, because a man can only destroy up to the point of his understanding, and only use it to mislead the man with the logical mind who has not yet opened his intuitive mind. So in the last days or the latter days, no prophet should be repeating to you the same literal feel-good meanings of the scriptures. The fullness must be revealed in the last days, not the repetition of the Gore Constantine Christianity that was taken from the original Essenes Christianity and was perverted. Everything must be taken into consideration when you're reading the Bible, the age of an event and the spiritual level of the character. For example, Abraham was a natural man, meaning he was a physical man, a material man. That's Abraham, Abraham. When Abraham now with the H came in was when he became the spiritual man. That's the difference between the 2 names of the same person. Noah walked with God means he had advanced to become a spiritual man. Adam before the fall was completely spiritual and had not fallen. In the book of Hebrews, when God told men that they could eat meat, he was talking to the physical fallen man because it was ordained that we would do so because of the darkness in that time. So in that time, we were obliged to eat certain flesh, but the Most High still left a clause behind that. He said, but you shall surely die if you do so. While when he told Adam what to eat, he said once he followed that covenant, death could never touch him. Because Adam was eating as a spiritual man, not a physical man. Since 2000, we have completely left the dark ages. And we're in the age of Aquarius, where man is moving to a higher level of spirituality, like the Egyptians were at the height of their divine light. You cannot bring your alpha draconian reptile diet into the time of light, because now man eats anything that walks. So the question is, are you eating for the physical man of the dark age, or are you eating for the spiritual man for the time that's coming, the time of divine light? Many instances in the Bible tell you you should not eat flesh. Genesis 1:29. And God said, behold, I've given you all the herbs bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is fruit, yielding seed. And it shall be for your meat, not as meat, but it shall be for your meat. Swap that out for the meat you're eating. Jubilees chapter 6, verse 10. And Noah and his son swore that they would not eat any blood which was in the flesh. And he had made a covenant before the Lord forever. Jubilees chapter 6, verse 12. This testimony is written concerning you, so that you might keep it always, lest you ever eat any blood of the beast or the birds or the cattle throughout all the days of the earth. Seal portion chapter 15, Adam now. And Adam and Eve were forbidden to eat the flesh of other animals. Their bodies were not built for that type of nourishment. All right, seal portion chapter 15, verse 60. And the Father had given them instructions to eat of the fruit of all the land, and they might do so for their health and strength. Seal portion 15 and 66. And even those bodies who were being possessed by Satan and his followers, they did eat flesh of other animals. Those are reptiles. And they did cook their food, hybrids. Seal portion chapter 16, 107. And they had not defiled their bodies with flesh of animals or with food that had been cooked. And these were strong men, had much more stamina and vigor than those who followed Satan. If you want to be this physical man and you want to eat your meat, go ahead. But if you want to reach the height of spirituality, you're going to have to deny yourself and carry your cross and leave that meat alone and become that spiritual person, man or woman you want to be.